The Hash It Out Show is brought to you by Barreto Home Solutions, Bayou Audio and Video, Hot Works on the North Shore, JFK Martial Arts in Mandeville and Covington, Black Hawk Hauling, Lil Dizzy's Cafe, Wags Food and Culture, Moe's Pizza, The Green Law Firm, Personal Injury Attorney, Drums Earwear.
Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. 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 Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up. If you winning and you don't give a fuck about a hater, tell them move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area, move. Clear my area. Cause I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning. I'm winning, I'm winning, I'm winning.
Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I am your host, JB, the sports guy. We got a good show for you all tonight. Our special guest for tonight, she is the head coach of the Chalmette Owls. Coach Shondra Johnson will be joining us in a little bit, and also the head coach of the Lafayette Mighty Lions girls basketball team, Coach Tarunye Kanonu, will be joining us right here. Also, as you know, I'm joined by my two co-hosts that you can find on CrescentCitySports.com. We got VK Jones and George Peppers. What's happening, fellas?
Not too much, JB. So just I almost couldn't log on, but where I'm here, but I also just took a bit of very bad news. Just asking for prayers for one of my coworkers. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and they're afraid it might be the aggressive kind. So, just asking for prayers for her. She's gonna have surgery March the 5th to get it removed, but she just gave me the news like not 5 minutes ago. So kind of feeling a little heavy. So just asking for prayers.
You got that. What's going on, VK Jones?
What's going on with y'all, man? Like, tag, share, subscribe to the Hash It Out Show and all social media platforms, and also log on to the hashitoutshow.com. My prayers and sentiments are with you as well, George. And before we
Thank
go
you.
any further, another a special shout out right quick to the family of Jonathan JT Terrell, the athletic director at Nip State. We did a tribute to him before the UNO game last week. He lost his mom and mother-in-law
Oh
all in
wow.
one day, and they had the funeral last weekend. So my shout out going out to JT Terrell, athletic director at Nickel State. Prayers go out to him and his family.
Thoughts, prayers, and condolences to the Terrell family, obviously from the Hash It Out show.
Most definitely. Guys, as we wait for Coach Chandra Johnson to join us, as you all know, tomorrow night it is girls basketball quarterfinals. Winners will go to Hammond to compete for a state championship. I kind of want to start right quick while we wait for her. Start with Division One non-select. Kind of want to get who you guys think will win the games and when we get to this Division One select, I don't want us to call that one. I want us to let that be due to the fact that we have Coach Kanonu joining us from Lafayette. I want to skip that game. But right here in Division One non-select, I'll go first. I think Walker is getting to the semifinals. I think Parkway is getting there. I think Mandeville gets there, and I think Ruston will get there. What do you think, VK?
And you said Division One
One
non-select.
non-select.
Okay. Looking at it, Walker. I think they get there as well. I think, and don't get me wrong, I think Parkway gets there, but Saint Amant is gonna give them a big victories on their hands and everything. I seen them against Liberty early in the season and pulled off the upset at Liberty. These girls are battle tested and they present no fear at all. It's gonna be a hell of a game, but I think Parkway gets by. Um, Zachary and Mandeville, I got Mandeville. I think it's gonna be a great game, but I think Mandeville gets it done. And Denham Springs, they have a lot of experience. They have made it in this level deep last year. I think they get through and they get to the semis.
George Peppers.
When I look at this bracket, I'm gonna go with Walker, but I see VK's point about Saint I do. I think Saint Amont's got a real opportunity here um, to pull this off. Do I have the guts to pull the trigger on this upset? Not quite. I think it's going to be chalk. And Mandeville's going to beat Zachary, but I'm gonna go counterpoint on that last matchup. Yes, Denham Springs has the experience and the backdrop to continue to proceed. They have done this before. They're going down tomorrow night, though. Upsets happening.
Ooh,
They are going down tomorrow. Ruston is who they play, right?
that's correct.
And they're gonna get beat. I feel like that's the upset of the upsets tomorrow night.
All right. George said that's the upset of the upset. All right. We're going to move on to Division One select. We are not going to pick Curtis against Lafayette due to having
Right?
Coach Kananu on the show. I'm going to
Hmm.
go first. I got Huntington over STM. I think Woodlawn of Baton Rouge gets the win over St. Scholastica. I think the Liberty Girls defeat Karen Crow. And I'm going to stop right there because I'm not going to say anything about Lafayette versus John Curtis. Who you got, VK?
I got um I got Huntington. I think they'll get it done. Saint Scholastica, this is an unbelievable run for them, and it's amazing how if it's the same Saint Scholastica out of I don't know if it's in the North Shore or not. It might be this might be a different Saint Scholastica, but if it's the same one, wow, it's unbelievable how the certain teams on the bottom has really arisen now. Back then, if this is the same school I'm talking about, there was the bottom of the bottom. Now they're right there. They got a great chance, but I'm gonna go with the experience of Baton Rouge Woodlawn. It should be a great game on that one. Liberty just cannot get complacent. They've been very, very good recently. They've been playing well, but they just can't get complacent. But I think they get it done against Karen Crow.
George Peppers.
I'm gonna go chalk. Huntington is gonna win their game. Saint Scholastica is a heck of a story, isn't it? And yeah, I get the backdrop of Woodlawn's experience, but I feel like when it's your time, it's your time. Saint Scholastica is going to get a well-deserved trip to the next phase, and Liberty handles Karen Crow. And obviously, we're going to freeze it right there because Lafayette and Curtis link up. Although I will say only one thing: that should be a heck of a fight in that matchup. But the first three, it's chalk, chalk, chalk.
Okay. We're going to move on to Division Two non-select. Let me
All
get that
right.
up right quick. I'm going to go Wassman over Bruley. I'm going to go Lagrange over Albany. I think the Bastrop Church Point game going to be a tight one, but I'm going to go Bastrop. And then I'm going to go with Iowa, the 7th seed. So those are my picks. Washman Lagrange, Bastrop, Iowa. So VK, as I get it up for you, who you got?
Okay, let's see here. We're non-select Division
Two.
2 or 3.
Two.
2.
2. Okay, non-select Division 2. All right. I'm thinking, yeah, Wassman. I think they'll get by Bruley. Bruley's been having a real good season. I think Wassman gets it done. It'll be Albany getting there. Albany has been deep in the playoffs last couple of years. I think they'll get back. Bastrop, and I agree with Jared. It's going to be a tight one against Church Point, but I think Bastrop will get there. And I like Iowa. It seems like this has just been a banner year, both sides with basketball on the girls and boys side. I like Iowa to pull off the big win against South Oregon.
All right, GP.
I'm going to go Wassman. This is the Wassman Invitational, right?
That's what we say it.
I mean, until otherwise noted, we're going to go with Wassman. I'm going to go with Lagrange as well. I think the backdrop of the schedule that they played, being in the Sugar Bowl tournament and other big matchups that they've had, I think they eke out a tough win against Albany. I'm going to go contrarian on this next matchup. Bastrop sensing a chance at another matchup against Wassman. They may overlook Church Point. Let's understand one thing. Church Point in 2 games in these playoffs have given up 52 points in 2 games. That defense may be enough to get them through. Iowa, South Beauregard, that's a tough matchup. It's a typical 2-7 quarterfinal. Both teams are of the highest quality. Iowa's played a strong group this year. I'm going to go with South Beauregard, though. I feel like that they didn't have their best effort in that last game. And I feel like that they've got more to give, and I think South Bow will be on their way to Hammond.
South Beauregard. Okay. As we move on to Division 2 Select.
All right. Get there.
Oh, I'm getting there, buddy. Trust me.
No, I'm trying to get there too. Another invitational. Okay, good.
I don't know about that.
It might be.
Let me see. All right. The Lafayette Christian Invitational is what we calling it. Oh man. All right. District rivals facing off right here. Lafayette Christian and Northside. Jada Richard and Lafayette Christian moves on. Bunky and E.D. White. Oh man. I'm gonna go Bunky. Madison Prep and Booker T. Washington, New Orleans. Hey, got to give a shout out to Booker T. Washington, New Orleans for the job they have done this year. But I think Madison Prep comes out on top. And it's Catholic versus Vanderbilt Catholic. I have Vanderbilt Catholic. Who you got, VK?
Well, this one I got Lafayette Christian getting it done over Northside. Jada Richard, there's gonna be too much for Northside. I got Edie White getting it done over Bunky, but it should be a very unbelievable game. That 5 versus 4. Bunky's really having a very big time year this year. This should be a very, very close game in that one. And Big Ups going to Booker T. I'm giving them props too. They went deep in the state championship a couple years ago, trying to get back. I think Madison Prep would be a little too much there. I think Madison Prep gets it done, and I think Vanderbilt Catholic will get back to Ernest Catholic.
GP.
All right. We said this is the Lafayette Christian, the Jada Richard Invitational. But there's one thing that the LC's Lady Knights are going to have to contend with. You're playing a district rival in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So familiarity breeds contempt. Northside knows Lafayette Christian. They're going to empty the tank in this game tomorrow night. I don't think they beat them, though. Lafayette Christian has Jada Richard. Northside doesn't. That's the difference. Now, as far as Bunky Edie White, I agree that it should be a fascinating matchup, but that was a very impressive display by the Lady Panthers in round two, giving up only 15 points to a Cabrini team that's got the upset in the first round. But that was a very big bold statement. Edie White has been gold this year. They've been really good. They knocked off De La Salle easily. Hell, I lived in Bunkie for 12 years. How am I not rooting for the Lady Panthers to at least get to the semi? Bunkie's my pick there. Madison Prep Booker T. Booker T, like you said, VK, is trying to get back. They went to a state final a few years back. I feel like Madison Prep's got more skins on the wall this time. I think, and the game being at Madison Prep wins it. And Turlings and Vanderbilt Catholic, the Lady Terriers have been absolutely on point this year. Their mission continues. They win over Turlings.
I just want to say one thing about Madison Prep. Me and VK saw Madison Prep play last year against Kennedy Discovery, and they lost. And that was a second round game.
Mm-hmm.
And to to see Madison Prep lose so early in the playoffs last year, that was just
Shocking.
it was very shocking. It was very shocking. But we see the difference now. A year has made with that team, and
Mhm.
looks like they're back on the right track that we've always
And
used to see in them, and that's making a deep run in the playoffs. We're gonna go to Division 3
and
non-select.
we did say they was real young last year. We did say that,
Yes,
and it's not surprising that they really have bounced back this year and everything else. And I did my research on Saint Scholastica. Yes, that's the same Saint Scholastica out of Covington.
mm,
They used to be in the bottom of the league long time ago. They used to be in the same league with Xavier Prep, St. Mary's, and everything else. Now they're in the state quarterfinals. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
unbelievable. Well, I was about to go on to Division 3 non-select, but our first guest has arrived. And this lady here, one of the best high school basketball players ever in the state of Louisiana.
Mhm.
She went on to Alabama. She was a three-time all-conference player, played in the WNBA, and she has coached everywhere, everywhere. But right now, she is the head coach of the Chalmette Owls girls basketball team. I present to you Coach Shondra Johnson. Coach Johnson, how are you doing? And thank you for joining us.
Good day, guys, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it and glad to be on.
Oh, we're glad to have you. Coach, I'm going to jump right into it. Your girls,
Okay.
your girls won the district championship and
Yes, sir.
hosted a first round playoff game. But with that first round playoff game last Wednesday, you benched some of your players. What happened?
Okay. Okay. So, there is a standard that we have, and it's practice first and foremost. And so, there were practice scheduled for that week. Um,
I
there
think we won.
set scheduled practices that the kids all knew about, even parents knew about. And it was set prior to the week of. And unfortunately, some of our starters and our sixth man or girl did not show up too. I think a lot of people think it's one practice they didn't show up to, but it was multiple practices they did not show.
Oh,
So with that being said, that cleared up some of, you know, I guess some of people's thoughts of why it might have been harsh or man, they could have went a different way. But in actuality, it was more than just Mardi Gras practice that they missed. They missed Monday's practice as well.
I I commend you on the job you did. And Coach Erica Randolph had the same problem. And she's the
Okay.
head coach of the boys basketball team in Hornville, where
Okay.
players had missed some practices, and she benched them last Wednesday in their game. And she caught a lot of backlash from parents and fans saying, "No, you should have played them no matter what." But that goes into my next question.
Okay,
How important is it for us, as for you as a coach,
I'm talking.
me as a taekwondo instructors, and even teachers and even parents to teach accountability and responsibility to their children?
I think it's very important. I'm not sure. I think for me, it's already a known fact. It's a rule that we have in place. And you know this going into the season. Unfortunately, basketball is a long season, and it takes up a long everybody's holiday. Unfortunately, that's what you sign up for. Okay, and so here we are. You've decided. During this particular holiday, unfortunately for me, it's playoffs, and you can't. I mean, you're not there, nor do you communicate, and I think that's where we are too. Just the communication. We could have decided a different time, or I could have worked with everybody instead of not communicating one. And that's a problem across anything from marriage to kids to everything.
Correct.
And I think for me, unfortunately, the girls, and I'm saddened that they didn't communicate to me. And so here we are. We have to now put into place our rules, and then you have girls to suffer, and meaning the rest of the team.
Right.
And that's just a rule. It didn't become a rule Wednesday. It had already been a rule when you signed up. I've had girls miss throughout this whole year, and they did not play. So you knew the rule. So, um, yeah, but I think communication would have been better. Like it not communication 30 minutes before practice. That's not what I'm talking about here.
Right.
I'm not talking about, oh, holy crap, I'm stuck. Let me figure it out. Let me call coach. That's not what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, no, 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 no. And I guess there is a lesson in this that we are teaching our young ladies. For me on this side, I'm teaching these young ladies, hopefully. But I don't know if that was my mindset when I made the decision. My thought was, oh, the rule is, and so I've stuck by it in the past, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna make, uh, I'm not gonna change because it's playoffs. That's not that. That's just not how I work.
I understand that. Um, Chalmette High School
Yes.
tweeted out, put a tweet out, and they had your back. How does it feel to know that Chalmette High School has your back?
I mean, Shellman has always had my back. Again, I've coached now this since '03, so I've been at Shellman. I was at Chalmette since '03, '04, and we are now 23, 24, which is 20 years in. And I've always felt like Chalmette has been home to me. And of course, I left due to the hurricane, but they've always welcomed me back with open arms, with no hesitation. And for Chalmette, but that's what family does. And
Yes.
so I consider Chalmette my family, and I just appreciate everything that we have at Chalmette, and they supporting me, and that's what family does, and that's where we have a culture of family within our athletic department, within our school, within our St. Bernard parish, and that's it. Like I feel honored that I can still come back and feel welcome, or felt welcome when I came back, and to this day here we are 12 years back, consistent. And they've always supported every decision I've made. They've always come both physically there, and always at my games supporting me. And then if I have a decision to make, they are there. They're like, you're the head coach, we support it. So I appreciate them. It tears me up oftentimes just talking about how they have always supported me.
My last question, and I'm gonna let VK Jones ask the questions. To me, it's like we're in a different time. When
Mhm.
I was coming up, And if I was doing something, I didn't have a choice to quit.
Yes.
My parents taught me commitment, and now it's like the parents are giving the kids a choice on anything. And I'm hearing all the time, well, if my kid don't want to do it, they don't have to do it. What are your thoughts about parents these days teaching their children commitment?
Um, I was never. I didn't appreciate my parents until now that I am a parent, and in these times, where I see just what you said, parents giving kids options. When I grew up, back to what you're saying, when we grew up, we didn't have an option. You chose to do this, and this is what you're gonna fulfill. And so, with that being said, I do see, and I told someone just recently, in the last 4 years, there is a decline in commitment in our kids, unfortunately, because we all have feelings now. My mom didn't give me any feelings, and I think I turned out pretty good. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And so here we are. We're giving these kids an opportunity to express. And well, if she doesn't want to do it, she doesn't have to. Well, I mean, you are the parent. You know right from wrong.
Right.
And so I want you to teach them, as you are their parent there. That's your job, is to teach them and parent them right and wrong. My job is just to coach them, you know. So with that being said, unfortunately, there has been a decline in how the parent is allowing our students or student athletes to make a decision. And it's not always the correct decision.
Mommy, where's my paper?
So,
Mommy,
sorry.
my paper.
Okay, it's in your room. Sorry.
DK.
well, Chandra, I see what you have going on in itself.
I'm so
Don't
sorry.
don't worry, don't worry, you're not alone. I have a
I
5-year-old.
have, I'm so sorry. I have a 6-year-old, 5-year-old, and a 4-year-old, basically. And we're all, this is night time, and we're all like in a mode of don't know how to act because mommy is on the phone doing the FaceTime, and they're supposed to be in a bed, and everything is off. But with that being said, let's continue.
I like that. Well, we go way back,
Okay.
and everything else. Your brother, me and him played ball together at St. Augustine, and knowing you from that time and everything else, you've been not just a winner on the court, but a winner in life more than anything else. You've been through so much, not just success, but adversities, but you overcame it more than anything else. And like a night like tonight, not just talking about the certain issues, but we got to give you flowers because of what you have
Thank,
done in the past.
thank you.
Can
Thank you.
can you first of all, the first question is,
Mm-hmm.
what does St. Mary's meant to you? Because your career was unbelievable in itself, especially for the people that don't know who you are.
Well, and if you know me, I am not a fan of who I am. Like, I just let people give my accolades out. I just am very low key. I could, that's, I first of all would all give all honor and like every credit to God. Like, my ability has always been God given. Like, I would never take that and say I was in the gym every day or whatever. I think God has given me a great ability, and my dad was a pastor, and he passed away just a month ago. A year ago in March. And he's always taught me that you've got to give your very best because God's given you the very best. And so I've always kept that in the back of my mind as far as a player and as I have coached these last 20 years. Like, I'm going to give you my best in coaching. As a coach and as a player, I said, God has given me this talent. I've got to do my very best for him. And so St. Mary's, I obviously went there as a seventh grader. And I did not play as a seventh grader. I played as an eighth grader. And I played throughout from eighth grade to obviously my senior year. And again, I was such a social butterfly that again, I just I just knew I had this talent, and I just went out there and showcased what I had. But the sisterhood of St. Mary's Academy is who I really am. Like, all my friends aren't basketball players. They're just the regular moms now that we all are now, and it was just a sisterhood that is unbelievable. Like, we just loved on each other, we supported each other, we gave each other high fives, we cried together. And so I love St. Mary's for what that was. It taught me that we can come together and hold each other up and hold each other accountable. And that's what I think and that's where I love Chalmette, is because that's what we do here too. So as far as like it was an unbelievable career. My again, my head coach there was Keith Haywood, and he did an amazing job with us all there. The 7 or the 6 years I was there, he had unbelievable squads throughout my career, and he knew how to manage it, and he did an unbelievable job of managing us all until, I mean, up till my senior year, and we won the state championship. And so, I mean, it was great. What fun it was from 7th grade to 12th grade.
And I tell you, you know, talking about your accolades and the people who's watching and everything else, you have to think in a 5-year career. And some people think I'm crazy when I say this. I always say that you're one of the greatest players I have ever seen play in this state, because I'm sorry, I had never heard of a basketball player that averages 35 points a game for 5 years
Thank you.
and lead a team to a championship and multiple playoff appearances.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, that's a lot of history in itself. But it looked like the tree didn't fall too much off the way you're coaching.
Okay.
Your intensity and everything, your disciplinary stuff comes from Coach Haywood more than anything else. And you can just tell the way that you're running things. And I remember your first year at Chalmette, my niece at the time was playing at Xavier Prep.
Okay.
And I'm like, the way that Chalmette team looked, and I mean, you got the girls running, cutting, I'm like, and I'm looking on the sideline, the coach from Prep had to call a timeout, and I was like, do you know who that is? That's one of the greatest players. I mean, she's coaching these girls to, and it's amazing because the fact about it is sometimes it, you know, not just yourself, but other past players that has given back to the game has made a lot of difference in a lot of programs all over the city and everything else. So, but I think it seemed like your disciplinary and your background comes from Coach Haywood, and it carries on, right?
Honestly, it really does come from my dad. He was my first coach, and he was such a disciplinarian, and he was such a coach. He was my first coach, and he was the coach. He coached my brother and then my cousin and then that group. And so I watched him have structure and discipline, and I always was in awe of like how he presented it to the kids and then had them perform. And so here we are now, it's my turn as the coach in his footsteps, in his, you know, behind him, and having to, and I just think structure and discipline changes the game. It just makes it makes a difference in the game of basketball. Like, and so why not have structure and discipline? That's how my life has always been. I went to St. Mary's, you know, like, it's been structured, and I have had discipline. I'm not getting into, you know, and so this is what looks good. This is what works. Not only looks good, but it works. And so with knowing that structure and discipline works, put it in. Like, let them fall into, if this is what they want to get on boat, if they want to get on a ship, they will. If not, jump off the ship. And so with that being said, that's how I've always been for the last 20 years. If I've been the head coach, it's either my way and it's been working, or you don't have to, and it's fine.
and you know, it's amazing, you know, you leave St. Mary's State champion, you had the tense rivals against Xavier Prep. How was all these years after that state championship that St. Mary's returns We talk about the split, but there's always certain good stories come out of it. One of them was St. Mary's and Xavier Prep battling for the state championship. Do you think that was like a huge feeling for both alumni coming together to seeing the ultimate thing that happens?
Totally. I mean, again, you have these two historic all black two teams come back together or come together in the state championship. Not only a rival game, but we both brought back, or one of us brought back at that time. We've been playing, or we are playing together in the state championship. That's the ultimate goal for anybody, right? Is to get there, and so to win it is what you really want. But for those two teams to be in the moment was like I was having chills just reading about it, and I couldn't wait to hear the ending score. And I'm texting people, but nevertheless, I think Xavier, am I correct? Prep, right? Prep wins it.
Yes.
Yes. And
Yes,
I am as happy as because again, I am a supporter of us. And so I'm happy that they had the opportunity, that they shined at that moment. Just like I would hope that they were happy that we shined in 98. So here we are. That's your time to shine. But again, I'm pulling for St. Mary's all the way to the end. We unfortunately don't win it, but hey, kudos. And I love that Prep got the victory and can hang a banner.
What made you, all the time that you played basketball and you been a lot of transitions, University of Alabama to the WNBA, and at the time, it was a transition when it was just getting into the WNBA because the ABL was running.
Right.
What made you want to get into coaching?
I think to be honest, I had enough, if that makes sense. Like, I have been playing since I probably was 7 or 8. I have been playing at a high level of basketball. When at the end of the day, you can't give your all, it's time for you to do something different. And so once WNBA was the end all be all, like I was cut, I go, well, you know what? It's something I've gotten to every level, and I appreciate the opportunity to be at every level. And God has given me this blessing or this gift to have reached each level. It's not my time, and I'm fine with that. Well, let me go help some other kid. Let me be a helper. And so what makes me the most happiest is when I get a freshman on the varsity level team, and by the end of the year they're better at their left hand layup than when they started at the beginning of the year. And so that's what makes me proud. Not that we win 25 games a year, but is if I am changing just the smallest thing is what makes me happy. And some people aren't like that. Some people like more wins than losses, and that doesn't drive me to keep doing this. What drives me to keep doing this is seeing that the young ladies are learning. That's first and foremost. Like, I see many people just playing games. Are we learning something? Are we getting better at this sport? Are we teaching them anything? Just not run up and down the floor. That's not what I'm doing. So I thought, well, it has ended. The highest level I can be has ended. So why don't I go into coaching young ladies and just changing, because I didn't want I honestly did not want my talent to be wasted, if that makes sense. So I still have this talent that I know the game of basketball. I can probably still play when I first came out 20 years ago, but 3 kids, I can't play anymore. So anyway, with that being said, I still have this in me. I still have basketball, and I still have basketball in me. But I didn't want it to go to waste and go sit behind somebody's desk and like let that just go to waste. God's given talent. My brain thought of how, of basketball just go to waste. So here I am, had an opportunity to come out to Chalmette and give back. And so that's how I got back into coaching. Plus, I loved seeing my dad coaches, and I loved seeing Alan Fry. Alan Fry was my AU coach who coached me from 9 years old, and every summer, and we had the best of teams, and like we won nationals like 5, 6, 8 years. I don't know, whatever. But my point is, it was fun watching him. It was fun playing under him. It was just a fun time, and those people who had structured discipline that won is what I thought about. And here I am. I'm going, you know what? That might be something I like to do. And so 20 years later, here I am.
Wow. Last question. I'm gonna give it to George Peppers for questions and everything. First of all, I wanted to ask you this here. You have, like I've said, you have won in life. You'll overcome a lot of things outside of coaching. You're married. You got 3 kids, and you had to go through a lot of adversity. What you can say to the people out there that has gone through a lot in life and how they can try to do their best to overcome it and to go forward.
I would say just continue to pray and ask God for guidance. I know oftentimes people just say that, but for me, that's what's kept me above, like the medium, is just honestly being a praying female, and just like in times of need, or just every day, just praying to God, asking for guidance, like before I even walk into the school every day. And again, I'm a teacher first, and so here we are. I'm a teacher first, so I have to go into school and teach first versus coach, which no problem, because I know once I walk in there. But I would say, don't never, like it's cliche, but keep pushing yourself. Like adversity is gonna come. We're gonna have some ups and downs in the road. And I tell my kids daily in the games, I go, look, listen, we're gonna have some bumps. We're gonna turn that thing over. It's how you react. And so when I say that, it's like you're in life there, it's not easy. It's not an easy walk by no means. But I don't want to see you put your head down. I want to see you how you react. And so you react by making a positive. And so you find a way to be a positive in life. And with that, you got to continue to pray. And so here I am, I pray. I just continue to pray. It's easy. That's easy thing to do is pray, but always remember, don't ever look down. Always look forward, look up. So that's my advice to adversity. There's gonna be there is gonna be, that's no doubt, there will be some adversity, but we never let adversity just like hold us back and just keep us down. We've got to look for the positive. Surround yourself with positive. Like find people that are uplifting, that's happy. Get with a partner that is like that, and be a win and be with winners too, like if that makes sense. Like you find some winners to be with, because that's what ultimately you want to win in life. Be with winners.
Yes, George Peppers.
Coach Johnson, first off, thank you for taking the time to join us here on the Hash It Out show. And I gotta say, I'm gonna ask you about what happened in my version, but 100%, infinity percent, forget 100, infinity percent. You have my unmitigated, unabashed support of what you did, what you had to do to restore discipline to kids. And I'm going to ask you about that later. But what I want to talk about first is the season in summation. You guys had a really good year. You managed to get a home game in the first round of the playoffs. Talk about the season as a whole and where your kids really shine, and just basically just talk about the season.
Yeah. Okay. So our season in, well, we were going into the playoffs 20-5. I think we started off a little sluggish. We had a jamboree, and we kind of didn't, like, we couldn't find our way early. We couldn't find our way. We added Taryn Cofield, who was a transfer from John Curtis, who won state championships. We added her to our team to play this year. She came to us last year as a student, but she is playing for the first year to our team this year. We've had some. We also had some of the girls from last year. We just needed to learn how to play together. I think the change was going into the Newman tournament, that kind of brought us all together, meaning that we were able to gel. Like we played in the we played first was Cabrini, and that was okay game, and then we had to step up our game, and I think all of our players stepped up tremendously. In the next game we played Carr, and then our final game was against Newman in a championship. And then I think that that whole championship win, the win of the tournament, brought us closer together. And so then we went on and played some other teams, and then we obviously played into the Christmas tournaments, and we won those tournaments we were in. Then we had to come into our district. Unfortunately, our district didn't give us much of a challenge, but we still had to win those games. We still had to prepare ourselves, and that meant, and I told my girls all the time, I said, it doesn't matter who you play, it's all about your preparation. Like, we've got to prepare well. You can't prepare slack. And I would always make them understand that it doesn't matter who we're playing. It's all about preparation. I don't care who you're playing. It's what you're putting into this practice. Because again, ultimately, this is for betterment of you. The team will get the win, but individually, we all are out here trying to get better. So practice is how we get there.
Next question. First of all, before I ask my next question, you mentioned about adversity at the end. I really needed to hear those words. I had a little something happen to me last week with my work, and hearing your words are very inspiring, and I thank you for that. There should be more leaders like you at any level, especially at the high school level, when you can nurture them at such a young age, and I thank you for that. So, with that said, you do. The way the season ended, I mean, it stinks, that it happened. Well, let me ask you, and this is more, I guess, generational, I think, would be. Obviously, if this incident would have happened, what, 20, 25 years ago, parents wouldn't have batted an eye and been like, go ahead, coach, do what you got to do. Now you've got parents that are like basically excusing this.
Correct.
How do you think we can go back to what it was back in the day? And you're going to have people say, well, it's not realistic. It's a different environment. Wrong. Discipline is discipline. Plain and simple. I'm an old school believer. I'm 53. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I'm revealing my age. I am 53, and I came up tough. How do you think we can get back to that mindset of kids have to be held accountable for their actions instead of, why'd you suspend my kid? Where do you think it has to change? What part of that has to change for us to get back to, the old school
I think
style?
I think we as coaches can't parent. We can only coach. And so with that being said, we've got to stand, my boy said, on business. And so we've got to lead. Like, if I'm the if I'm the person that started this, all coaches, we've got to stand on it. Like, and so with that being said, if I am the first person that can maybe help change the culture of how we hold our kids accountable, I'm here for it. But I can't tell a parent how to parent, and that's not my job. Okay. And so I'm not going to
Mhm.
say, well, parents may need to do this. My job is to coach. And so here I am. I've made a decision. And if all of us can stand on what is the right decision, and that is, if this is the rule, we sticking with it and don't change for them. We're not changing for them. We can't change for them. And that's where I am. Like, I'm not changing for you. my my rule was set. We You've got to either stay on course with us, or you can't be on the ship with us. And for me, that's where I am with, how can we change, or how can we hold these kids accountable? I think we can on our end, but we all gotta do it together. We all gotta do it. We can't be behind the scene going, oh well, yeah, I like what she did, but then one next week you change your mind because mama called you and told you some excuse. No, it can't work like that. No. We gotta
Mm-mm.
stay strong. So we've got to hold them accountable and make them understand this is it. This is what real life is. Because when you walk out those doors, you're going to go in the real life and they're going to hold you accountable. And they're not going to say, well, what your mama say. I just don't. I'm sorry.
That's the truth.
They're not gonna call.
Amen.
Mama can't call for you when it's real life, you know. So, you know, I
Yeah.
didn't. I feel bad that like it was never a what should I do. I've all like, well, it's a rule broken. Well, when a rule is broken, here's what happens when a rule is broken, you know. But with that being said, now we have led up to, yeah, now we gotta, this is right, hold these kids accountable, make them understand the loyalty when you commit or commitment. And I get it, and I'm all for it, and I'm a speaker for it, you know. But for me, ultimately, the it was a no-brainer, like, because you broke the rule.
Gotcha. Now, you obviously had a home first round playoff game with East Ascension. And I don't like playing the what if game because that's hyperbole and hypotheticals and stuff like that. And I don't want to phrase this next question as such. But let's say this situation doesn't happen.
Mhm.
How did you feel about your team coming into this playoff? Obviously, a tough draw. I mean, you had a home game with East Ascension, but looming would have been the 3 seed in the round 2 in Mandeville. How did you feel about your team as you guys headed to the playoffs before
Well,
this
like I said,
unfortunate incident?
I thought we were moving on a positive upslope. And so with that being said, East Ascension was a tough draw, but I've always felt like like I said, Monday's preparation would have been tough and strong, and then Tuesday's preparation would have been another strong commit for everybody, and we'd have figured it out and got together, and I'd have drew up a good practice plan and had things ready and prepared. And then again, we would have had to go out and execute on Wednesday. And so I always tell people, unfortunately, I can't execute for y'all. You guys have to make the shots. You guys have to get down on defense. You guys have to box out and rebound. But with
Hmm.
that being said, could we? I'm banking we win. I'm banking we win the first game if I had all my players. And so then the next game we'll look at it on Thursday, not on. But I'm not looking past East Ascension, and so I'd have had to prepare my girls for East Ascension. And yes, I would have banked on Chalmette winning their first home game against East Ascension.
Staying in the moment. Yeah, that's the right mindset. Well, let's talk about women's basketball. I really want to get to this because I want to get your perspective. Being such a great player in your day, and having such a great career, you obviously have seen how women's basketball has grown in popularity. Look at the zenith of last year, where LSU won over Iowa, winning the national championship, and it drew the highest rated game ever. And they've
Yes.
had some incredible women's basketball teams. You remember the Louisiana Tech teams, the Tennessees with Pat Summit, the Gino Auriemma UConn teams. It seems like women's basketball at the collegiate level has grown, and LSU Iowa proves that point. Why do you think it hasn't grown as much in the WNBA level that it has at the collegiate level? Because it seems like the WNBA is still trying to find their footing with ratings. Now, last year's final notwithstanding, it's been a struggle for the pro league. But last year's final was the Liberty and Vegas. If not for last year's
Um,
final, why do you think it struggled to go at the pro level more so at the collegiate level?
I personally don't watch enough WNBA to answer why they
Okay,
don't get the ratings. But I will speak on the collegiate level and speak how excited I was and to see how from the time I was in college to now, how much it has grown and how much fun it was to watch LSU. Although I am an Alabama through and through, roll tide. LSU win that, but if Alabama's not playing LSU, I'm all about LSU women's basketball or LSU in general. Because again, I am from Louisiana and that's my hometown. So I don't have any quarrels against LSU, but to see that, to watch it, it was fun. It was fun. And so I think
right.
maybe the collegiate level, it's just the games are fun to watch. Maybe, I don't know. I don't watch enough. Honestly, I don't watch enough of WNBA to answer why they don't fulfill or able to get the
Full
view.
disclosure. I'm sorry. Full disclosure. I don't know if you're a football fan, but Michigan did beat Alabama. I just wanted to let you know that in
Yes.
the collegiate playoffs. So I'm a Wolverines fan. Well, hey, look,
Oh
everybody's
well,
got taken it.
get it together, Wolverines. How many national championships have y'all won?
Um, One this century. I'll give you that. Okay, you got that. You got 7. You good. It's all in fun, coach. But I just don't want to
But
think any. I mean, now you got me stammering. Jeez. All right. But my last question.
yeah.
I know, ain't that nice? She's a Bama alumnus, but I like the geopolitical answer you gave where you said you root for the Louisiana teams. I'm the same way. I'm a Wolverines fan, and I root for anybody in Louisiana too because I want to see our state have the utmost of success. So I have the same mindset when it comes to rooting for teams and all that. I obviously didn't play like you did. Um, but anyway, that being said, my last question: as you now head into an off season, talk about what the people in Chalmette can look forward to coming up next year. I feel like there's going to be a little bit of chip on your shoulders for next year, considering how this season ended. Talk about what Chalmette's going to bring back and what we can be looking forward to.
Well, Shondra will return everyone. Well, out of the 5 potential starters, we could return 3 next year. So it has a positive. We've just got to be positive. And so here I am. I made this decision off a rule. And so the rule was broken. So then you have a consequence for a rule that's been broken. The end. Now we have to move forward. And so forward now knowing that, oh, I can't do that. Maybe it alters how they come into the season. Well, it hopefully how they come into the season and want to finish the season. So I'm moving forward with a positive attitude, going, let's rock and roll, guys. We have unfinished business. Like here we are. We had to make a decision, and now you have to prove. You have to prove you belong there again. And so we're going in knowing that practice is going to change the outcome of everything. And so that's how I feel in all situations. It's not, oh well, let's just go out there and play a game. I believe in practice. And so I believe that I have a good practice plan when we at the preseason, in season, postseason it is structured and disciplined. And as we move forward, that's who I am. I'm not changing. I've been now 20 years. That's who I am. I'm a structured and disciplined coach. No, I'm not playing with anybody. And you know that when you sign up, that. And so what now people see is that how big it has gotten, that I've made a decision on, but I've made these decisions. I've made these rules, and but now because of it was a playoff game and how it ended, maybe it is now broad, but I've set kids before. I've had kids not come on trips during this holiday season because they miss practice. That's who I am. You break a rule, you have a consequence. I'm not going with mama say, just not doing it. I can't hear you. Did I do something?
That's me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Coach, that's me. Coach Johnson. um, Thank you for joining us. We truly appreciate it. This was
Yes,
so
sir.
much fun.
It was. It was so much fun. I loved it. I loved it. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate Coach. Just putting that out there and just making our world aware. Unfortunately, there will be consequences, and we've got to hold each other accountable for what is right.
That's correct.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I'll be the one that starts it. put my name on the top and say, well, we're just gonna make sure we all are doing it the right way. That's
Most
what I
definitely.
like to see anyway. I can't parent your kid. I have my own 3 to parent over here. They should be sleeping, but they're not. But anyway, with that being said, I'll just like to coach them and teach them and teach them the right thing to do, the right way to go.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right, Coach Johnson, thank you. You
Thank
have a
you.
good night.
Coach. Have a good
Thanks.
night.
Y'all have a great night. Bye bye.
You too, Coach.
All right, that's Coach Shondra Johnson. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, the head coach of the Lafayette Mighty Lions girls basketball team, Coach Tarunye Kanonu, will join us right here on the Hash It Out Show. Welcome back to the Hash It Out Show. I'm your host, JB the Sports Guy, joined by VK Jones and George Peppers. Our next guest, she is the head coach of the defending Division One Select state champions, and they have a big matchup tomorrow against a team that she's very familiar with. But our special guest, Coach Tarunye Kanonu. Coach, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me. And I'm happy my
Can you
name
hear me,
right.
Coach? Oh,
Can you
oh, I'm good with names,
hear
Coach.
me?
I told you last night. I'm good with names. Yes, I hear you, Coach. I hear you. I hear you real well.
Okay. Okay.
Coach, my first question to you is, why did you want to become a coach?
Can't hear you. I
Can you hear me now, Coach? Coach? VK, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you. I can hear you perfect.
Okay, all right. Coach can't hear me. She has all bars up.
Yeah.
I can
Yes,
hear you
Coach.
fine, JB.
I see she's talking, but I can't hear her either now.
I'm hoping
So,
it's a sound thing on her end.
so what we're gonna do. Coach, log out, log back in, and we're gonna try this again. If she can hear me.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I can't hear her though. I can't hear her.
Neither me. I can't hear her. She's smart. There she goes.
We're gonna try this again. We heard her at first, and then after that, I couldn't hear her. So we're gonna try this again to get Coach on board. I need those at John Curtis to stop trying to mess with Coach Internet. I need VK to stop slurping while we're on the air.
Nope.
Hey, the guest is off right now. You know what I'm saying?
I don't care about the guests being off. We got people watching the show.
Courtesy.
God,
Curtis. Man, look.
damn,
Whatever, bro.
man, look.
Look, man. Man, chill out, bro. Man, look, I understand what you're saying, bro. Dude, relax. We have a
We
good show
relax,
right now.
man. We relax.
Relax.
You the one
Relax.
on a live
Dude,
show
come on, man.
slurping.
We are on a live show. I didn't
Oh,
meant to
they're
do
gonna
that.
All right.
text me. Why VK slurping on the show?
Who texted you already?
Don't worry about
Somebody
that.
actually said that?
Oh,
Yes,
Lord.
yes.
Man, look. Man.
All right.
Yikes.
Let's try
You got
Coach
her?
Kanonu. Let's try Coach
Let's
Kanonu
try
again.
again.
Here we go. All right, Coach, can you hear me?
Oh. Oh boy.
Can you hear me, Coach? Coach Kanonu. She is frozen on my screen.
I can hear you.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. I can hear her. That's all that matters. As long as I can hear her.
That's it.
All right,
Hello?
Coach.
Me?
Yes, Coach. We got you. Coach, my question to you is, why did you become a head coach?
No.
I hear you, Coach. Can you hear me?
What is it doing?
Coach K? Lost Coach K again. And I can hear her. Could you hear her, VK?
Yeah, I could hear. I could
I
hear
can hear her.
much
I heard her.
better.
Heard her.
You know.
Heard her fine.
Hopefully, third time should be the charm this
Third
time.
time the charm. It's got to be it right here.
Yes.
Third time the charm. Here we go.
Yes.
All right, guys. Here we go. All right, Coach K.
I don't see her.
Something that pop up in a minute.
There it is.
All
Boom.
right, let's see. Let's see if we get Coach K rolling on the third time. Coach K, can you hear me?
She's trying to adjust things on her end, it seems like, too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I can see by the movement on the screen is what that's telling me.
Let's see if she can hear me. Coach K, can you hear me?
Nope.
I can't hear her. I can't hear her. I wonder if it's the area she's in. But she has all green bars. 10 of 10. She's not muted. She's not muted. It's all green bars.
So it should be good.
Yep, but I wonder if it's the area she's in.
It might
Also,
be
Lafayette.
I wonder if the area she's in.
What if if she's still having trouble with her connection, what if you could just do it audio wise, call on the phone and just because
She has to. She
we
has to
already
be logged. She got to be logged in regardless. Or,
Right.
or
were.
I tell you what, Coach. I tell you what we're gonna do. I'm gonna call her and put my mic to the phone. And
There
let's
you
see
go.
if she
That's
can,
what I was talking about.
I'm gonna call her from my phone and see if we can do it from there.
There you go.
Got it. All right, so we're gonna make this work.
We make it happen
By
right
hook,
here.
by
Make this
hook or
work.
by crook. Let's get it.
All right,
Yes.
hold on. We're gonna make this work. Let's see. Coach. Coach. John Curtis people, they hacking.
Yeah, they infiltrating, I think.
This is what happens when you're in the country.
I see that, Coach. I see that. Well, we're gonna make this work, Coach. We're gonna make this work. All right.
Okay. Oh, so you just connected me?
Yeah, I got you through my phone. Yes, ma'am. Coach,
Okay.
my first question to you is why did you become a head coach?
You know what? I ask myself that every day. I really when I finished school, like college, I really didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. Like, so I went back and I helped my high school coach with basketball and whatnot. And so I just said, I prayed about it, and I went back and got certified. And so my first job was at Northside, and my brother was just like, you need to find a job coaching, because at the time I was substituting and I was helping take care of my grandmother, and I would coach on the side. And so it just so happened that it worked out where I got a call from the athletic of the parish, the athletic director of the parish in Lafayette. And so we had a conversation on the phone. And so when I went to talk with Mr. Handy at Northside, it just so happened that in December, I stepped into my role into coaching in high school. And so when the head coach had passed away a couple of years after that, I just stepped into that role as the head coach, and it just took off from there. So I would just say it was all in God's plan, honestly.
I know Lafayette won a state championship in 2012 and constantly been a playoff team, but ever since 2019, there's been a steady incline with this girls' basketball program. What can you say about the job you've done making this program one of the state's best programs?
I would say the biggest thing, it starts with discipline. I'm really big on discipline. I demand it. That's just how I've always been. I have an old school mentality. And so, and also I believe it's it's the people your personnel that you surround yourself with, because this is like, it's easy. If I could just coach, it's so much easier, but to be a teacher and a coach is so much that we have to do every day, and so I think I'm blessed to be surrounded by great people too, like my assistants that I have, like we're just a great combo, and so when you have a combination like that and you can get the athletes to actually buy in to what you're trying to do, it makes a huge difference. And I think we just at that time too, from 2019, we had a strong group that came in, and so every year we worked and we got better. Once you get a taste of the playoffs, first year, we go in the first round wasn't enough. Then the next year, the second round, and then we make it to the quarters. You lose in the quarters, and then so every year we just worked on getting better and better.
2022, a heartbreaking
Mm-hmm.
1-point loss to Parkway in the semifinals. What was the mentality of you, your coaching staff, and your team going into the 2023 season?
We were hungry. We knew that we wanted to get back there. Honestly, coming back into that next year, we didn't know what it was gonna look like. We just put in work. A lot of times I think we do a pretty good job of closing off what everybody else is doing and just focus on what we're doing and like what we need to work on. And so we just demand so much from the kids, day in and day out, and they bought into it. And so I just feel like we were able to piece everything together at the right time.
Describe the feeling of when you defeated John Curtis for the state championship last season.
It was kind of like a surreal moment. It was just a lot to take in. We knew coming into that game, like, we were ready. I think I want to say the previous year before that, we played each other, because before that we really hadn't seen John Curtis. So the previous year we lost the first time we played them by 3, and then the second time we won by 3. So we were 1-1. So we were kind of familiar with them at that time. And then so coming into the championship game, we just, I don't know, started from that morning when we woke up and we did. When I seen the kids, like, you can look at your kids and know from their body language what you're gonna pretty much get, And so I could tell then that we were locked in and they were ready. They were. It's just like little things that was happening throughout the day to show, like, just signs, that it's gonna be a good game. And so, I mean, we were walking down like, once we got into the arena and checked in, we're walking and we're chatting, we're ready. We're ready for y'all. Like, that's it. It just like chills, because we were that locked in, and so we just enjoyed the full moment. We knew it was gonna be a tough game, and it was close throughout the game, and so we just, I think having a tough schedule throughout that season, that's pretty much it prepared us for that moment.
Tomorrow, 6 o'clock, quarterfinals matchup, and it's with John Curtis again. What will it take for your team to come out with the victory tomorrow night?
I think our defense, that's pretty much have been our motto, especially throughout the year. Um, we have to come in and follow the game plan. The biggest thing with the kids is for them to listen and follow through. And so if they trust themselves and trust what we have put together and can put it all together, piece it the right way, I think that we have a good chance.
All right, VK, I'll pass it to you. Give me a second, VK. Give me a second.
No problem.
All right, VK, go ahead.
All right, Coach. It's good to have you on and everything. You've done unbelievable work at Lafayette, and I remember we met a couple years ago at the Sugar Bowl tournament, and I admired how your work has been.
Hold on, VK. BVK,
You hear me now, Coach?
can you hear me now, Coach?
A little
You hear me now?
Speak.
Hello, hello, hello. You hear me?
okay, that's much better.
All right.
Okay, okay. Coach, I like I said, I met you a couple years ago at the Sugar Bowl tournament. I admired your work and everything, but at the same time, you also told me about the history of Lafayette, Lafayette High, and everything else. And looking at the programs in the past, it seems like the girls' basketball team has been the most consistent out of all the athletic programs at Lafayette. You know what you can say about the yeoman's work that you have put, and also past coaches getting that women's program the way where it is right now.
I think that definitely results back to just discipline. Um, Being able to get kids to buy into what you're trying to do, and I think that once they experience success and see um the direction that the program's going, like they want to be a part of that. And so, and I think too, like with my assistant, because she was part of that state championship team. I've never won a championship. That was my first title, but for her, that was her second. And my other assistant too, he was with Lafayette High at the time too when they won a state title. So I think having that experience there too makes a big difference too. And so it's like we know we can, the vision that I have, we can collaborate with that and just bring it out. And so I think sometimes it's too just who you surround yourself with. And so I just could honestly say I'm just blessed.
Yeah, I was very very happy for you, happy for you and your team last season, because I remember when y'all lost to Parkway. I know it was very heartbreaking, and I said it myself. I'm like, they're gonna be back with vengeance next year, and they're gonna try to win this whole thing. For y'all to still have the opportunity to have a chance to defend your title, you know how it is that you're really continuing to work hard, push through, even though you play a tough schedule and even though that the target's on your back.
Well, I look at it as it's a journey, and so you're gonna have your highs and lows throughout this journey. But I told them last year in their press conference too, we plan to come back. And so throughout this season, it's been very, very tough. But you know what? If you want to be the best, you're going to have to beat the best. And so, we just had to shut off everything that has been in our path this season and focus on what we need to do um, to be able to get back there. And so um, we just know that we have to be prepared from whoever's going to be in our path. And so this time around, it happens to be John Curtis, you know. And so we just know that coming in, that what it's going to take to prepare, to be able to play them. And so I really do think that potentially whoever wins this game possibly will be playing in the state title, for the state title. And so I think it is a very big game tomorrow.
And you're looking at the district you come from. We thought a lot of districts are really tough. Your district is really tough in itself. You look at how Southside the year they had Karen Crow, Lafayette, Barb, who had a very nice year, and also, a lot of other Acadiana, not too bad either. So you're looking at these teams, and I mean, you played one gauntlet of a district this season, Coach.
Yes, I was very proud of our district this year. Like we really, like hats off to them. Like they really help in preparing, us up until this point. Like we always try to play a tough regular season, and sometimes in district play you don't always get those tough games, But this year, they really excel, and so I think I was proud of them. Because I like to play a tough schedule. I don't want to play just anybody just to get a win. Like No, I don't believe in that. Like I want somebody to be good because I want the challenge. I want my kids to be challenged, and so because nothing in life is just going to be given to you. So it's like no, I want to play the best, and we gonna scrap it out. Like I respect like everybody, and I want them to give their best and be their best, and I want the other team to be able to bring it too. So I always teach kids even from little, like even with my own. Like somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. But if you could go out there and say that you've played your best, then hey, that's what you want. But at the end of the day, I still want to win. So we ready. That's all I can tell you.
I like that though. I'm gonna ask you this last question. I'm gonna give it over to George Peppers. This is Black History Month, and we didn't had a good bit of black female coaches coming on this show and everything else, and how they've been working, giving back to the game and everything else. We even had Erica Randolph, who's the head boys basketball coach at Hanville, on our show and everything else. Yourself, as an African American coach at Lafayette, breaking the mold and giving more opportunities. What are your thoughts on how y'all, overcoming a lot of challenges to do what you love to do?
I mean, I love to see when you see more when kids are able to see um, themselves, a representation of themselves, and so I think that's very big, and especially for it to be held in a respectable way, you know. And so I always try to get kids to be to be the better version of themselves, and it's always important to represent. So I mean, I love the fact when you have us representing, you know, and so like even with Lafayette High, I mean, you have two. We have two currently, African American boys and girls basketball coaches, and so I really think that's big for the kids to see like what opportunities are out there, and so it's it's a blessing to be able to coach them. You know what I'm saying, and push them to like we envision things that they don't always see it in themselves, and to be able to see it come full circle to life, like I really think it's really big, you know.
Yes.
So I
George,
just it's for them to know that once they leave from us, like to go out and give back and be the same, because it has to come full circle all the time. And so I love like to be able to coach on the stage and be able to see the African Americans out there being successful and pushing these kids too. I really think it's a big platform.
yes, very much agree. George Peppers.
Coach, first off, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us on the Hash It Out show. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. My first question to you. The season didn't get off to the start that you wanted. There was a 4 game losing streak. Now, being a reigning state champion, losing streaks, when you lose consecutively like that, they seem a little more magnified. What was the message to your team to get them refocused and get back on the winning track and get to where you are now?
I tell you what, that was tough. Because we had been in that position for so long. Like, I mean, I've never been in that position. So, um, it was basically we had to come in and, like I said before, we just say, you know what, and losing Grace Paul was huge. After when she got hurt in the second game of the season after we beat Fairview, we went through our identity crisis because she was such a big part of our team. And so I think at that time when we were losing, we had to figure out, like, before last year, Krista Narcisse pretty much carried the team and had, with Kyra Johnson, like everybody had roles to play. But some of these kids were not in those scoring roles that they, what we need now. It's totally changed. And so um, we had to learn what that looked like, and just make adjustments. And sometimes these kids don't always make adjustments right away. It takes time. And so it's for them to trust the process and trust what we're telling them and trying to get them to do. And then once they start seeing that and learning and having confidence in those roles, then you start seeing success. And I'm gonna tell you, we're very demanding of them, and so we not cutting corners or cutting back because you think it's hard. It's like, no, this is what we need. This is what we're demanding, and we're gonna get it some kind of way. And so until they come in and trust the process, and they gotta go through it, I think that's pretty much prepared us for now, like at this stage where we are now. And so now that Grace Paul is back, I think that just enhances the team because that makes us more versatile. Other
Right.
people have to step up to the call, and they've learned how to do that. So now, how do you put all that together? And so hopefully we're piecing everything together at the right moment, which, like we always tell them, we don't want to be peaking too early because that you always have room for growth. And I don't want anybody to get a big head because that was the biggest thing for us too, to let them know, hey, you got a target on your back. You just want to stay tied up. So I think when we went on that 4-game losing streak, it kind of took the target off our back because then now, like, we were able to go into a different version of ourselves and just focus on what we need to do. We're not gonna worry about where our rankings are. We're not gonna worry about what anybody else think or say. Like, there's things that we gotta fix in house. And once we fix those things in house, then now we're ready to step out. And I think by that time, coming into like the Sugar Bowl Classic was the turn of events when we started seeing that success start to come together in different moments into district play into now.
Being a defending state champion, uh, I know the role. When we talk about roles and everything else, last year to be the hunter, chasing a title, then you get it. This year you're the hunted, and everybody's coming to knock you off. How much more pressure does it add on to you as a coach and to your team to be in this position where you are right now?
For me, it doesn't add any kind of pressure because I like it, but I can't play the game, And so these kids, the mental aspect of it, that's where it gets kind of tricky because you have some kids that are naturally they can rise up to that challenge, and you have some that struggle through it. And so now, where do you find that balance? So, um, like I said, I think that when we kind of fell off a little bit and kind of dropped in the rankings and stuff, I feel like it took the target off our back. Now it's like, I told the kids, don't get it twisted. Now when people come to play you, they come to beat you because they remember them times when they probably had those losses against you. So you better bring your A game, And so it's just, I think more so it's just finding that balance and for them to understand and buy in what you're trying to do.
Yeah, you've had two pretty solid playoff wins on your way to this quarterfinal against Mount Carmel in round one and then against Chappelle in round two. What could you take away from those two games that can get you ready to play a team like John Curtis again on the road in that environment? It's going to be a tough environment, but what can you take away from those first two playoff games that you played, and how do you feel that will help you in advance of this matchup against John Curtis?
I think the biggest thing for us was being able to come up with a game plan and execute. And then the other part of it is our defense setting the tone for us. I don't know if people really understand and know. We haven't played home at all this year. Like, our gym is being renovated.
Right.
We've gone through a lot this season. And so playing at different places, I feel like we have always been a team that played better on the road. Like, there's nothing wrong with taking care of home. But we thrive in those type of atmospheres too. So I think for us this season, not really having a home place. Sometimes some games we played at Northside, some at Como, some at Acadiana. We just have to come in and be comfortable with wherever we are. And so I think that they've done a pretty decent job overall, despite, all of our adversities that we've had to deal with, practicing not at our school, different places. We've been through a lot this year, so I think for the most part we've done a pretty good job. So I think that coming into this game tomorrow, it's nothing that's foreign for us.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, we got to come ready to play, regardless of where we play at. And so I think that has pretty much prepared us coming into this game too.
Do you think your familiarity with the success that you've had helps you in a matchup like this tomorrow night? That that you can lean on. Hey, we were here before. We know what to do. Let's just go out there and get it. How do you feel about that aspect of the equation tomorrow night?
Um, I feel pretty good with it. Um, it's for me, honestly. I'll know better when I see these kids tomorrow. Because when I look at them, I'll be able to feel their energy and know, like, okay, it's what kind of day it's gonna be.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm sorry, I just got distracted with something. Can you
It's
repeat the
it's
question? I'm sorry.
wait, what?
Go ahead, repeat your question, George.
Oh, I was saying the fact that you got. Okay, I'll repeat it. The fact that you guys have had this recent span of success, winning a title. Uh, how much do you lean on that in advance of a quarterfinal, knowing you're one step away from the top 28? How much of that is an advantage do you feel tomorrow night?
I'm not gonna necessarily say that it's an advantage, because we tell the kids, like, once you get into the playoffs, is you starting a whole different season. Only if you lose, you out. I think that because we've been on the stage before, it may help a little bit. But I mean, at the same time, you have quite a few kids too on John Curtis' team that has been on the stage too. So it's like, regardless of that, you got to come ready to play. And so I think that's going to be the bigger aspect coming into this game. Um, of course, probably with the kids today, they're always going to have some type of nerves, being nervous. But I always tell them, like, that's common.
Mm-hmm.
We've prepared as much as we possibly can. You just got to step up, and it's going to be the little things. You
Right.
got to make sure you catch the ball. You got to make sure you don't get in foul trouble. Just basic fundamental aspects of the game. You got to finish your layups. You got to make your free throws. Like, those things, I think, are going to come to play down the stretch. And so that's when, if whether you focus or not, I think that's going to make a huge difference.
I don't doubt that at all. Um, Adversity does breed character, but the next thing I want to say is, you guys, like you said, you don't have a home gym to play this year because of the renovations. I think you should petition for a change from Mighty Lions to Road Warriors, because you guys seem to have really embraced that theology into this season, and it's now led you to a state quarterfinal. But my next question to you: what would it mean to you to take this team and win another state championship and going back to back? I know for the kids, obviously, it's going to mean a lot because it's about the kids. But for you personally, what would it mean to you to go back to back?
It would mean a lot. It would show that all the hard work, and, like, a lot of people don't see the time that we take from our families, putting into this, to be able to reward yourself back with that. Because ultimately that's what every team's goal is, to win a state title, but to win it back to back, especially under the conditions that we've been through throughout this season. I think it would be huge, because I don't think that many people probably even seen this even being possible. Probably coming into this game, some people may favor John Curtis. We like being on the other side, where have doubt in us, because I don't need validation for what I do, or what we do. That's why I'm big on that with my kids. You just gotta go out there and just prove anybody wrong. You gotta believe it first. If that's what you want, go get it.
Mhm. Us against the world. I love that mentality. It's a beautiful thing to embrace. Uh, Last question, and it's all about the game tomorrow night. The game is going to be played at Academy of Our Lady. John Curtis against you guys. Champs versus team that wants to be there. Give me a couple of keys that you're going to be looking for. Give me a couple of keys that you need to have happen for Lafayette to leave AOL with a win tomorrow night.
Well, to come out with a win, I think that our defense is going to be really pivotal. We know that they have a couple players that that are really big for them, and it's the keying on them and being able to disrupt what they normally able to do, what they're good at. And so I think for us, it's just going to come down to executing and basically following the game plan.
Coach Kanonu, I have one more question for you before we get you out of here. So your team won a state championship last year, but that wasn't the only thing that you won. You see, the internet is kind of undefeated, and just me doing some research, I found something. I want you to tell us about this hot 107.9 Pump My Ride contest you won.
Okay, so that was really funny that you even found that. So at the time, I was pregnant for my middle child. So this was like 10 years ago, right? And so I'm coming from Crowley, and something told me I was on 107.9, and I'm like, they announce like where they give a clue like where they are. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm on the interstate. I'm like, man, I know where they at. I'm rolling down the interstate. I pull up, and so they were like, you can either take a chance and end up on like $10.79, or they could pull your full tank of gas. And so my daughter was like, Mom, I think you should go for it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try. I didn't even expect to get it, but I'm good like that. So, so when I landed on it, my big pregnant tail, because I'm like 8 months pregnant, jumping around. I was so excited. You couldn't tell me like where my $1,000 at. That's all I know. Where my money at. So I was so excited. You couldn't tell me nothing. And I still to this day, that was my first time ever trying something like that. And I'll be practicing when I go to the pump because you never know what can happen again. But it was a good experience.
Yes, indeed. Coach Kanonu, we want to thank.
That you found it.
Yeah, look, I'm scrolling. I'm trying to see when did she start. When did she become the head coach over there? Just trying to get some information and get these questions. And I saw that. I was like, Pump My Ride, and it had your name. I said, what she won? I was like, wait, she won $1,000, and she had to get it to land at $10.79, and she did that. I was like, wow. I said, oh yeah, I'm asking this question.
Well, that type of stuff is in my nature.
Yeah, I don't see that.
I'm a perfectionist. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But I have many different tricks of trades.
Mm-hmm.
I could do a few things. I can.
Oh, I believe you, Coach. I believe you. But we want to thank you for joining us, taking time out your schedule. I hope we made this comfortable and easy for you tonight.
You did. I'll be honest. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, oh my God, this is my first time doing something like this, in this type of setting. And I mean, it was cool. I liked it.
Well,
I appreciate y'all inviting me to come out.
Definitely.
I did have a good time.
And we want to wish you.
I take it y'all gonna be to this game tomorrow.
Well, I saw you the other day. But no, I'm on assignment.
You did.
Yeah, I'm on assignment at a boys basketball game tomorrow, first round. So I will not be able to.
So let me ask y'all, what do y'all think is gonna happen? What do y'all predict?
Oh man, we on the spot, y'all. We're on the spot.
Yes, we
on
are.
our own show.
I need to know because I need to know what do y'all predict tomorrow that's gonna happen, and I want your honest opinion.
She wants honest opinion.
Yep.
My honest opinion is I think the game going into overtime.
How political.
That's my honest opinion. Game will go
Yes, indeed.
Because
so who you think is gonna win in overtime?
Mm-hmm.
Why is George like like he ain't got to answer the question? We all got to answer the
I
question.
am.
I need 3 answers.
She wants 3 answers. Oh man, BK, why you laughing, man? Why you laughing? All right, she wants to know who is going to win. All right, here we go. I have the defending state champs winning over John Curtis tomorrow in overtime. VK, who you got?
All I know tomorrow is gonna be there's
Don't be
somebody gonna
scared.
be an absolute winner, and somebody's gonna be an
He see
absolute
he's
loser
scared. He's
tomorrow.
scared.
Don't.
I have to. My
He won't be
my
mad,
thing.
VK.
I'm like this. I appreciate Coach. I respect Coach. My thing is, as a journalist, I'm going to respect the guests, and I'm not going to pick. I just can't do it.
Oh,
I just can't. I'm being an honest person.
Okay.
I just can't do it, Coach. I can't do it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
have respect for you. I have respect for Coach Alondra. I just can't do it.
All right, George, you got an answer for Coach?
I do. First, Coach, I also personally thank you for taking the time for joining us, and I hope we made this experience great for you. I think we're in for an incredible ball game tomorrow night. We saw John Curtis in the Alario at the Sugar Bowl tournament. I think the girl, well, no, that was the boys. I think I don't remember if the girl. No, I'm sorry, but it's a great coaching matchup, and I'm a fan of the mighty champions not going down without a fight. I think you guys are gonna absolutely get it tomorrow night. Y'all gonna bring it. Um, and in my honest and humble opinion, unlike my co-host that wants to be geopolitical, VK, I'm going to give you a definitive answer, and my definitive answer is this: I think you guys pull out a win. It's going to be a close, enticing battle. It's going to be a well-attended battle because the crowd is going to be great. I think you guys win a very close game tomorrow night. How about a three at the buzzer? Sound good to you, Coach?
Oh Lord, that's stressful.
I know how. Hey, you asked for an opinion.
Okay.
I just wanted to present a scenario to you.
Oh,
Say
man.
that again.
Wait, George.
No, I was saying you asked for us to give you a winner, and I just presented a hypothetical. What if you win it on a buzzer beating three? I don't think you would complain, obviously, but you just mentioned the ticker might be a little bit elevated in that spot. I think the heart would kind of get a little elevated.
I'll tell you what. As long as we can roll out with the win, I'll take it.
There you go.
There you
Oh
go.
yeah, I'll take it. So we're gonna try. We're gonna. We've prepared them as much as we can. And
Mhm.
I tell my kids, the ball is in your court, so they gotta come out ready to play.
There you
So
go.
I'll tell you what. If that happens, it's gonna. You're right. It's gonna be a great game.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Coach Kanonu, thank you for joining us. We truly appreciate it. And good luck tomorrow night in your quarterfinal matchup against the John Curtis Lady Patriots.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Y'all have a good one.
You too,
Thanks.
Coach.
You too.
You too, Coach. Thank you.
I got the best improvising skills in the world.
You do.
My
Pro,
volume is so loud, she couldn't hear VK. All right. My volume's still loud.
pro, okay.
All right. There we go.
Yeah, proud of you, that man. That takes a lot. You know what I'm saying? That you did it on the fly, bro. Sometimes I've been in a situation like that before myself, that we have to think of something. You know what I'm saying? Despite of, and sometimes it gets the job done.
It did. It got the job done. Most definitely. Most definitely. So Lafayette versus John Curtis tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at Academy of Our Lady, right here on the West
Wow.
Bank of Jefferson Parish School. I mean Jefferson Parish. I'm sorry, losing my mind. But guys, that's the end of our show. Uh, last words, VK.
Oh man, it's been a good week. Good 2 nights of great sports talk, local sports talk at that, man. This is a good. We're continuing to train up. You know what I'm saying? But catch me TSBN Sports on Friday. It'll be Nunez at Mississippi Gulf Coast. The first pitch at 3 p.m. And then Sunday BRCC hosting Jones. That will be, I think, a 2 p.m. first pitch. So I'll send the links on social media. I'll be doing baseball at that time, but me and JB gonna be doing doing some things a little bit with this playoffs this week and all that stuff. Women's top 28 coming up, men's top 28. We're gonna be everywhere, man. This is gonna be awesome stuff coming up, man.
Man, look at this. I ain't get invited.
I don't know. He
Look,
put my name in
He
it. I don't know what you're
playing.
talking about. I already know
No,
I'm going to Lake Charles for the top 28. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the girls top 28. I don't know if I even be able to make a game. So man, he just threw my name out there, George. But go ahead, handle him, George.
I see
Handle him
that.
on him.
He's pre-planning for you.
no.
He's your booker. You know.
We not. I ain't trying to leave you out, George. Not at all. We don't know what your
Yeah.
schedule is. Thing,
Nah,
but
no. I'm gonna say. If you're talking, I think I know what you're talking about for Saturday. But did I hear you right that Nunez was on the road, or is that game in Chalmette?
no, the game will be in Perkiston. I got the clearance to go
Yeah,
to
because I know you
Mississippi
and I
Gulf.
talked about road games and stuff like that. So that's why I was just making sure.
Yeah, because I said there was only two we go target was Mississippi Gulf Coast and Southwest Mississippi. They played them on Tuesday. I haven't got
Got it.
clearance on that yet if we're gonna go out there for that, but they gave me
Mm.
clearance to go out there to Mississippi Gulf Coast on Friday.
Well, as we speak, and I haven't seen any updates yet, UNO's baseball team is in a midweek contest with a really good Southern Miss team. Emmanuel Pepper's on the call on Nash 1061. So hopefully the Privateers find another win. They won their first series against Georgia State. So after losing the first game, but my last words are, I'm going to piggyback off what VK said. We've had an excellent 2 nights of shows, but when don't we set the bar high, do we? I mean, that's what we do. And, having these coaches on, it is our distinct pleasure to be open and frank. And I really enjoyed both interviews tonight. Coach Kanonu was, she's the first coach in the history of the Hash It Out show to put us on the
Yes,
spot,
put it on the spot. Yes.
you know. And hey,
Mhm.
look, I like that. I love that because coaches are like, they're always answering questions from us. And when they flip it around, it's like, come on, give it to me, talk to me, be real. And if I'd have told her Curtis would win by 30 or something, which they're not, I don't think it's an avalanche or anything like that. I do think it's going to be a close game because, look, when you're a champion, you're a state champion. What's the hardest game to lose? Is this one. I
Mhm.
feel like, you're the pressure is on the challenger, Curtis. They see that team that won a state title, right? So you would think the pressure would be more on the home team, and then they got to defend home court. But my question on that is, why is it the game at Curtis and is that AOL? Is there a gym issue, or is that
I'm
by
gonna answer that
design?
question, and I'm gonna say something afterwards. Well, the first thing I'm gonna say
Okay,
is this: Lafayette broke Curtis's state championship winning streak.
yep,
Curtis had won 6 in a row, and Lafayette broke it.
got it.
I forgot to mention that to her, to Coach Kanonu. Number two, they are renovating one of Curtis's gym.
All right.
Curtis's gyms don't meet the capacity to host any playoff games. So Curtis has to play somewhere else. So the gym they're remodeling isn't finished yet. So they thinking it's supposed to be finished by Friday, but Curtis boys are on the road. But
Mhm.
that's why the girls are going to AOL and play.
Okay, well, they're duly noted. But it's this weekend. We're looking forward to great playoff basketball.
Hmm.
Some enticing matchups on the boys' side to start the proceedings, and of course, the girls' side, where we anticipate some big names moving forward, a la Lafayette Christian with Jada Richard. Watson has been terrific. You
Walker.
know, Walker and Mandeville, that can be ever so close to happening. Walker Mandeville in a final, still 2 wins away for both sides. And if that final happens, holy cow, it's
Yeah.
going to be an incredible, incredible final. And I know you and I said this, JB, that we're going to be on the Lady Skippers if that matchup happens. I'm not wavering at all. If that matchup happens, I'm going with the Lady Skippers in that spot if it happens, but it's got to get there first.
Yep.
We've had a great time, and I know we'll be back next week with more great guests. And it's a pleasure to do this with you guys. Sacrificing time, which is great because it's what we do. But I've had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time with y'all, and I, it sucks that I can't partake because I am working this weekend. So when work calls, it's called time and a half. VK
Yes.
1.5 means a lot overtime. I'm just saying, dog.
Mhm.
So
I
gotta make that bank when I can make it.
I
Exactly.
gotta
We all got to make that bank, and we can't forget. You mentioned about the other schools. We can't forget about the other local schools that are in the quarterfinals: St. Scholastica out of Covington
Covington.
and
Hmm.
Sacred Heart. We cannot
Academy.
forget them. Sacred Heart
Yeah.
Academy, Sacred Heart,
Yeah.
known for their volleyball, but now they got a pretty good basketball team. So it's gonna be interesting to see those two programs.
We plan to have a show Monday and Wednesday. Coming up Monday and Wednesday. Also, a little bit of history being made before we get out of here. I want to give a shout out to our good friend, Coach Erica Randolph, first female to coach a boys basketball team in Class 5A in a playoff game come Friday night. So, shouts out to Coach Erica Randolph.
Go
Good
get him,
job
coach.
done. And we're pulling for you because we want
Yep.
history to repeat for the second round. Cool. So, shout out to Coach Randolph on that one. That's VK Jones. That's George Peppers. I am JB, your sports guy. We will see y'all Monday and Wednesday of next week. Watch our keep an eye out on our social media platforms, and you will know which guests we have. You know, Coach Randolph happens to win this first round game. Hey, she might be on our show. Well, that's it for the Hash It Out show. Y'all take care. We'll see y'all later.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hiller from Ponchatoula Lady Wave, and you're watching the Hash Out Show.
Thank you for